good Thursday morning. Oh man, am I loving this week. I hope you are also. And we come today we're studying through Romans chapter 8. This couple weeks we've been studying great passages in the Bible, and there is none greater than Romans chapter 8. If you were to memorize one chapter, this would be a great one to do. We come today to a verse that I'm sure you have memorized. You've heard it hundreds of times, most likely, if you've been a follower of Christ for very long. I think it's the second most quoted after John 3:16. And that, of course, is Romans 8:28. And that says that we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. It's interesting that that verse is so often quoted, and yet actually it's often misquoted, or at least misunderstood, because it's not saying, and I know you've heard this or you've thought about it, it's not saying that all things are good. No, it says that God works all things for the good of those who love him. So God works all things for good. Not that all things are good. All things are not good. There's so much sin and evil in the world, and you couldn't even begin to list the thing, from floods and people dying that way, or fire, or rape, or sickness, or child abuse. I mean, whatever the thing is that you hate the most, and maybe we hate them all, they're evil. They're evil. And those things are not good. And yet, this verse, Romans 8:28, says that God works even those things for good. Now, how can that be? Well, there's a couple of things that we must understand if we're going to understand this verse. And the first one is, for whom is God making this promise? He's not making it for everyone. It wouldn't be true for everyone. But it is true for what? It says, that little phrase, for those who love him. For those who love him. And who are those? Those are the children of God. They're the followers of God. And when you become a follower of God, your whole perspective on life changes. Because you begin to see what really is important in the world and what really is long lasting, because this life is very short, isn't it? In the realm of eternity, this is but a flash, a whisper, a whisper. I put this up today because that's a glacier up in Alaska flowing into the sea. And my understanding of those is that some of the snow that makes the glacier falls like 100 years ago, or some huge number. It might be more than that. I'm not sure. But I know it's a long time because it moves so slowly. And yet that's a whisper in time. Everything that we can think of compared to eternity. And so that means that the things that are really important are the things of God, the things of eternity. And God works all things for good, for good. Doesn't that bring you peace? That God makes good out of bad for those who love him. And I think that second phrase is an important one in this case, and it says, and for those who have been called according to his purpose. Because when you're a follower of Christ, a follower of God, you understand what God's purpose is. And what is that? And that is that God and his followers will be forever happy in heaven. and praising God and living life together with him in heaven. And so he desires that there be as many of people in heaven as there can be. And so the ultimate good always has to do with advancing his kingdom here on earth, his influence, so that more and more people from every tribe, tongue, and language, nation, ethnicity throughout the world will be there in heaven with him, praising God together, you and I and all the rest. That's his ultimate good. That's his ultimate good. Let me ask you this in this phrase. Would you be willing to die for your children if it meant they would come to Christ and live forever in heaven with you? Well, I think the answer is an obvious yes for any of us. Why? Because we love our children and we want the ultimate best, even if it meant evil and bad for us. We would do that. Well, guess what? God the Father did that himself. He sent his Son to earth to take on the form of a man that he might give his life so that his other children, us, could live forever with him in heaven. God the Father showed the same kind of love that you and I would show for our own children if we needed to, and if he asked us to do that. It's not what he asks us to do, however. No, he asks us to live lives worthy that they would see him through us. That's just on one issue, though. When we look at life from this perspective, that we know for a fact that God works all things together for good, when this is our definition of good, not that the thing is good, but that God uses it for his glory, which means more followers. When we see a tornado and certain people are killed, we say, how could that be good? Well, what if through the local churches or through churches coming and helping clean up and rescue and so on, maybe 100 people come to know Christ. And they, in turn, yes, it cost, it had some people go to heaven maybe earlier than we would have thought. However, many more people would be in heaven. Would that then be God using it, the bad for good? Yes, it would. And you can use that type of thinking when you hear of bad or happenings or disasters around the world. That's a call for prayer. Ask God to use it for his glory, to bring more people to know him and to help his children mature in the faith. And thank you for the opportunity of helping. So Romans 8:28, so true. And I want it to be a part of your mindset and life. If you haven't memorized it yet, you do it. And we all have stories of bad things that happened in our life, and it turned out for what? Good. Because God used it. God used it. Ponder and meditate on this verse today. It's worth your time. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give